All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we got the Monday market report. This was the report for the week ending December 7th, 2025. So we're going to check out some of the auction highlights from last week. We're going to be looking at greatcollections.com for the coin sales that we are about ready to talk about here in this video. So again, from last week, I know this is a few days late, but better late than never on these. I know you guys really love these videos. So this will kind of give you guys a little bit of a kind of snapshot of how the graded modern market is doing, which, as you guys know, the graded modern market, is probably going to be the first thing to fall if the market does slip eventually. The market overall, very strong. Lots of activity. Lincoln Cents kind of paving the way. We could have done a whole video on nothing but Lincoln Cents. Maybe one day that will come to fruition. But we have selected my personal favorites to have sold here last week. Kind of talk about a little bit of what we're encountering as far as the popularity of these coins and why they make them so hot, so pricey, so expensive for what they are. But we do have quite a list of other coins as well. We're going to be looking at cents, nickels, dimes, quarters, and we also have a bonus coin at the very end of the video that I think you guys will be absolutely surprised to see on the list. So I can't wait to get started. Thank you guys again so much for making the Monday Market Report one of the most popular videos for over a decade standing. I am more than thrilled to the moon to see how well this particular video does, and you guys love it. So we're going to keep on doing it. All right, so before we get started right here, quick little shout out to our channel sponsor, Whatnot. We have a show this evening, and we have a show on Friday, and then that might be it for the rest of the year. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of a good time to do this. We got some pretty nice stuff waiting in the wings for you guys to bid on. We've inserted a few more Lincoln Cent rolls. We're not selling nearly as much of those, only because the market is so volatile right now. And, everybody who's anyone is picking up rolls of all conceivable dates. They're, in their quest and pursuit to try and assemble full date sets and things like that. And also get them while they're still available. Affordability wise, prices starting to tick up on a lot of these dates, and we'll have them along with some other great stuff. If you guys are looking, by the way, for 2019 West Point Lincoln Cents, we have them on tonight. We will be going live at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, Wednesday, and then the same time frame coming up here this Friday, and then we will see if we're going to do another show next week. But boy, we're really excited to bring this to you this evening, and a lot of great inventory, a lot of great stuff that you guys might need in your collection. Get them while you can, as prices are ticking upwards. Price of silver ticking upwards. We're over $60 an ounce. Kind of a crazy time that we're living in when it comes to precious metals and the hobby at large. All right, so go ahead and use the QR code on screen. Sign up today. Get $15 off your very first item. We will also have the links down below if you didn't want to use the QR code, and also pinned to the comment section of this video. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. We have a really, really ultra-modern issue here, a 2010 Denver Shield Cent. Of course, these are going to be quite desired over years to come as more people kind of FOMO out and they want to join the registry set. There's going to be more people really engaging with Lincoln Cents in the future. The mint may not be producing more, but the popularity and the continued collecting direction of this popular coin is just going to keep forging forward, and it can't be understated anymore. So even some of the modern issues will be desired at the highest grade levels. This one right here coming in at mid-state 67 plus red, which is quite a desirable grade. 68 seems to be the one that everybody's chasing, but the next tier down also going to be another hot commodity as more people are jumping on the bandwagon for it. Lincoln Cent Registries. This one right here is selling for $1,462.50. Nice way to kick things off here on the Monday Market Report. Another perennial favorite among roll hunters, treasure seekers are looking for all of the big varieties while they can. 1992D, Close AM Reverse. This is affectionately referred to as the FS 901 Cherry Picker's Guide variety. It's also in the Red Book. It's published all over the place. Strike It Rich with Pocket Change is another great resource. But nonetheless, this is a coin, ladies and gentlemen, that even today is just being actively pursued. The very few of them that there are remaining in circulation, are going to be there until someone finds it. And the prices at the kind of about uncirculated level, where this one sits at, continues to hold very strong. Once a coin that used to be right around $1,100-$1,200 has now enjoyed a little bit of a price spike here in the last 6 to 12 months. This one right here in an AU58 Everyman grade, which is a very popular numerical grade in coin collecting, ended up selling for $1,608.75. Again, to kind of reiterate, look at the closeness of the A and M in America on the reverse. If the base of them are touching, you have the coin. Also keep in mind that the Frank Gasparo initials on the reverse will be a little bit different compared to the regular standard wide AM coins that were made for this year. Next big great variety that you can find in a Proust set, a relatively inexpensive Proust set. If you have untapped potential of just massive loads of modern day Proust sets that nobody ever really wants, but they really don't know of what's hiding in there, this is a good one. 1990 Proof Lincoln Memorial set that's missing the S mint mark. The San Francisco mint mark was inadvertently left off of the working dies when they were striking these. And there were a number of them that were struck and then subsequently inserted into the Proust sets for that particular date. Now, they had done this across a few different dates. So you're going to see a couple of them here today on this video. So this one right here, graded probably quite high, like one of the highest graded known examples in a Proof 69 red. And you can see it says deep decam there. That stands for deep cameo. Nice, beautiful, robust frosting on the devices that are in relief of the coin. And then the fields are a nice kind of wavy black appearance to it. Wavy in a sense because that's the composition. It's a copper plating all over zinc as opposed to it just being copper or bronze. So this one is supposed to have an S mint mark right under the date. This one does not. That's what you're going to look out for. And quite a nice price here at $4,957.88. If you guys remember from last week, we had talked about the same coin, only it was also accompanied with the rest of the coins, all graded by PCGS in that Proust set. However, that one graded out Proof 68. This would have been the great complement coin to all the other ones that graded 69 in that particular set. And here it is a week later in its own standalone auction. Pretty cool. Almost hitting $5,000. It's pretty cool to see one of these. And quite possibly one of my favorite modern varieties. This thing exhibits some of the strongest doubling that you will ever see on any modern issue. 1983 Lincoln Memorial set, doubled die reverse. The FS 801 is quite infamous across the community. Lincoln Cent people know about it. Variety experts know about this one. It's a very hot and very highly touted variety, and one that has enjoyed incredible price spikes over the last couple years. This one really gaining kind of like the kind of the COVID era price bump among a few of the other coins, like the 1984 doubled ear was another one that really shot higher during that time frame. These things have just been wildly consistent lately. All right, this one graded out at a 67 red and also issued a CAC certified sticker right on the label. This thing is quite gorgeous. I mean, you look at the doubling on the reverse on 1 cent, E pluribus unum. United States of America, and even the memorial building itself is really quite doubled. So I'm happy to say this one ended up selling for $2,191.50, a really beautiful specimen. And one that really we don't see too often, and kind of neat that we're experiencing this here today. 1970, bam, that's it. Philadelphia minted Lincoln Memorial scent. Usually we're sweating the estimate mark, because of the various different varieties. We've seen a number of FS 101 double to die obverses on the Monday marker reports, especially coming from great collections. But very rarely do we just see the plain non-mint mark Philadelphia struck 1970. And here it is. This one, no doubt about it, is intended for a registry set. All right, that's why this one's here. Mint State 67 Plus Red is a top grade and a beautiful, beautiful coin, by the way. So in this grade level, it's a pop 11, which means there are 11 graded in a 67 Plus Red, with none finer. So this is it. There are no 68s or no 69s in existence. And because of that, Lincoln Scent Registries are going to enjoy this one. This one ended up selling to the tune of $2,814.37. 1966, one of the infamous 3-year SMS only dates. And they didn't make any Denver or San Francisco issues for these particular 3 dates from 65 to 67. They meant in kind of like a last-ditch effort to, really soften the cries of the coin community because they weren't going to do proof sets after 64. Ended up bringing out these special mid sets, which was more of a hybrid of a proof coin and a business strike, kind of like having a baby here. However, they did make business strike coins that were just sent out direct into circulation. And finding one these days, you're going to have to look through like maybe brilliant uncirculated original rolls, which are very few and far between for these particular 3 dates. But if you're able to find one in this condition, it's going to pay off huge dividends. By the way, in a 67 Plus Red, it's a pop 16 with no issues finer than that. All right, so no 68s, no 68.9s, none of that stuff. This one ended up hammering on great collections for $3,290.62. Outstanding. And we also have a 1960 large date, okay? And this one, quite nice as well. Mid-State 67 Plus Red. Large date, as you can see right on the slab label by PCGS, represents a top grade. This one, much more scarce than the previous coin because it's a pop 4. Only 4 known in the 67 Plus Red. 0 finer. None that graded out higher by PCGS. This one sold for $3,488.62, much like the 1970 that we saw a few moments ago. 1960 plain Jane large date is just kind of like an average coin to a lot of people, and collectors included. The same way that the 1970 Philadelphia, both coins really representing no additional fanfare, a few minor varieties, but outside of that, that's pretty much it. 1956. Now, once we get into the 1950s, especially the wheat cent reverse design coins, anything struck at the Philadelphia Mint is going to be a heck of a chase, especially if you're trying to look for top graded examples like this one here in a 67 Plus Red, CAC certified. This thing is a verifiable monster. How much of a monster? It's all in the price. Everybody was flocking to this coin, mostly in part to the registry set. A lot of those crowds, especially paying close attention to this one because it's CAC certified as well, whereas other 67 pluses are not. This one, by the way, is a pop 6 with actually one that graded out 68. So there is one floating around out there in a much little bit, I'm going to say much better condition, but it's half a grade point higher. It's not really that much higher, but it is the only one in 68. Now, it helps to know that even this one here at not the top grade still managed to pull in $12,000 $937.50 through Great Collections public auction. So that kind of helps, solidify the status of a lot of these Philadelphia minted 1950s wheat cents as being somewhat of a treasure to a lot of collectors. And we also have a 53S as well. Now, the S Mint Mark coins are generally a lot better in condition and quality. They're very well struck. However, if you're able to command and grab a Mint State 68 red out of any particular one date, even if it's a Denver or San Francisco coin, congratulations. You have hit the big time. This one, by the way, part of the Valois collection of Lincoln cents. Sounds like a registry set that had dissolved or been broken up, and now some of these pieces are sold onto the public market. This one right here is a Pop 2, none finer, so there's only one other example graded the same numerical grade. $16,374.38 was the sale on that. And that was 9 Lincoln cents, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're finally diving into nickels. This one coming in at a surprising conclusion. 1980D, Jefferson nickel, graded out Mint State 67 full steps. A date, by the way, where we don't see these at all. 1980 P and D coins are quite scarce. Now, the Denver coins for this date are generally a little bit better in quality. They're a little bit better struck as well. So that's why this one ended up commanding and grabbing that full steps designation, which is quite tough for a lot of 1980s Jefferson nickels. This one right here is a Pop 1, and there are none finer. This is a 1 of 1 as of right now, until someone decides that they're going to dust off that roll of Jefferson nickels and grading one in the hopes of capturing the elusive Mint State 67 full steps. This one's selling for $4,611.38. One of my perennial favorites of the week because of its scarcity. And it's a coin that honestly could have gone a lot higher. 1973, in comparison, because they are the same grade, Mint State 67 full steps. However, here's the differentiator. The previous coin is a Pop 1. This one is a Pop 8 with none finer. So there are more of these out there in the same grade, whereas the previous coin is a 1 of 1. So this one right here is a much nicer, better looking, better quality luster. We're talking like a tale of two different dates here, because that 1980D doesn't look quite like this nice. This one, by the way, is selling for $1,183.49. And for it there being 8 examples, you can see the price difference between this and the 1980D. And here is our other missing mint mark proof coin, the 1971 S Jefferson nickel. Now this one doesn't have an S. It was left off of the working die, much like that 1990 Lincoln set we looked at earlier. So here's yet again another great chaser to look for in a relatively inexpensive proof set. That's this one. This one grading out proof 69 cameo. So it does have a little bit of frost, but general weakness on the frost prevented it from being a deep cameo coin, which still matters to the annals of the secondary market sales. No S is notated on the label. This one ended up selling for $1,407.05. Again, that cameo frosty designation does play a huge factor in the value of this one. A couple tough dates here. 53D. Man, this thing is mushy. It's like someone was using a piece of cake to make coins. That's how mushy this thing is. You can see all the dye flow all over the place, struck with heavily deteriorated dyes at the time. So, there was a pretty good reason why full steps nickels are virtually non-existent. However, we have this one, Mint State 66 Plus, full steps, as noted on the label, selling for $1,209.38. 51S, which is also another really tough date, okay? Again, 1 year removed from 50, which is the tougher, much more scarce date, 1950D. However, those are available out there in full steps in quite large numbers, whereas the 51S isn't so much. This is a rarity. This one graded mid-state 67 full steps, and it's also got a little bit of light toning on there for all you fanboys of that appearance, selling for $3,150. We have a couple beautiful war nickels. How about this 45D, where it does not have full steps. However, the toning really, really gave this one enough pizzazz to make it still a very relevant issue during last week's auction. This one graded out quite extraordinarily high in a 68 plus, but no full steps to be mentioned, and it looks like it every step of the way. That weakness on the steps is a dead giveaway. But we cannot argue with the color. It's quite stunning. Very beautiful. It's like staring into the sun first thing in the morning when you're waking up, drinking your cup of coffee. This thing is a beam of light. Selling for $5,175. Another great coin for the week. 44 Philly, also known for its toning. Beautiful issue here. Mid-state 67 plus with full steps. These silver war nickels tone absolutely stunningly. There hasn't been too many ugly toners out there, but you have to be a fan of toning. And good news, there's a great blend of registry set lovers and collectors out there and the toning market. So there's a kind of a multifaceted desirability for these type of coins. This one right here ended up selling for $2,306.25. This Philadelphia issue looks fantastic. Now we're on to dimes. Dimes actually showing up today. How about this one? Another missing mint mark proof issue. 1970, no S, PCGS Proof 69 Cameo. We're not going to beat a dead horse here. You know why. The mint mark's on there. It was just left off. It does have a little frost. It's heavier and more recognizable on the reverse, as noted by its bright, kind of ghostly visage of that those devices on the reverse. But nonetheless, a stunner in 69 Cameo, $3,939.75. Keep this one in your list of rarities to find in proof sets that are not terribly expensive, aside from the 1970S candy half dollar, which is only available in mint or proof sets, or proof sets rather for the S mint. The Denver mint was only available in the mint sets. This is still a relatively inexpensive set to own today, somewhere around $12, as the price of silver dictates that. We're going to just call this one the watermelon toner, because that's exactly what it looks like. The kind of like the light yellowish green hues on there to go along with the pink insides of a watermelon. I mean, this thing is cool. It's like good old school 1980s bubblicious watermelon gum, the bubble gum, that is. This one's really cool. And glad to see it on the list. Great grade too. Mint State 68 full bands. Quite desirable, either by registry sets or toner lovers. About $2,531.25 is a great sale. My goodness, the Roosevelt dime market is waking up a little bit. New redesign for 2026, and who knows what else for 2027. 1955D, quite a tough date. The 1955 PD&S coins enjoyed very, very scant mintages, single-digit millions for sure. But, finding one that looks as good as this is where the challenge lies. We can find beautiful BU, Blast White, 55s of any of the mints pretty easily because they were all hoarded in the highest state of preservation. But finding one that maybe sat in an album for a while and developed this nice toning, that's where it's at. Mid-State 68 full bands, nice grade again, $3,937.50. We're seeing some pretty healthy prices on Roosevelt dimes these days when they do show up. A few quarters, nothing too crazy. 37S, tough date, Mid-State 67 here. Toning is either you love it or hate it. Some it's a little bit too dark for their tastes. $1,353.38, and we also have a 36S as well. coming in here. Both coins appearing to be from like old albums. This one right here, Mint State 67 Plus. CAC certified as well, a much better represented coin than the previous. $1,800. Again, these are two very, very tough dates within the Washington Quarter Series. 1918, pretty neat. You know, we just don't see this particular date pop up that often in nice grades. This one right here is our lone singular NGC graded coin of the week by, however. Mint State 66 with full head. That's quite nice. Nice speckly toning all throughout. Very original to the coin. This thing was never dipped or played around with, doctored. This is 100% fully lustrous original with the skin. And I'm happy to say this one ended up selling for $3,825. You know, something to be expected with a coin that looks as good as this. And let's not forget, 1901S Barber Quarter is one of the keyest dates that you ever encounter of the 20th century. 1 year removed from the turn of the century. This thing is quite lovely for its grade. Quite shockingly, I think it probably could have been like a VF 30 or 35. That's how strong it is. But VF 25 is where this one hit. It's great to see this one in particular because I've seen so many of them in like low ball grades, AG and good, and they're still like $1,000 coins and up. So this one right here, definitely a much better quality example. That's an appeal to a much wider range of audiences that care about investments and type coins and high-end type collecting. Yeah, nice full Liberty on there as well, which is something we don't see on a 1901S. This one was, rode around pretty hard across many of them that were made during its time, or the very few. They didn't make a lot of these back in 1901. $20,000, $362.50. So $20,362.50. You know, it's all that in a bag of chips. You know, it's a coin that maybe we see once a year across all different auction platforms. I'm glad that this one, in all of its nice beauty, sold for very well. And here's our bonus coin. 2007D satin finish, which indicates that this one was pulled out of a mint set during that time. Now, they made satin finish mint set coins from 2005 to 2010, and they were all very well struck. But this one graded Mint State 70. Perfect grade. It's the highest grade that you can ever imagine on any of these. And in the Sheldon scale is quite elite for a coin that is not proof to hit a 70. And then yet we have this one here. So a top grade, kind of a tricky date for sure. And a coin that, you know, a lot of people still don't understand that this was made and intended for mint sets with the satin finish. They didn't circulate these. It was an NISC date along with a number of them around it. And a gigantic sale, $5,495.62. Don't make me repeat that. That is such a huge number for a coin that we all kind of took for granted as just being a mint set coin worth a few bucks. Now, in Mint State 70, kind of a game changer there. That's it. Go ahead and wrap her up for this one. The info in this video is for educational use only. Keep that in mind, not financial advice. Please collect and or grade your coins responsibly, especially in light of the heightened usage of PCGS and NGC and CAC-G grading services. There is quite a bit of a backlog, and as some of those employees are taking time off during the holidays, it's going to become even more exacerbated by that. So keep that in mind. And that's it for this one. I'm your host, Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Glad to have the MMR a few days late, but still there nonetheless. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video if you enjoy it. And that's it. You guys have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas to you all. And I hope to see you on the next coin video. Take care now.